Hi, my name's Austin Kane. I'm 18 years old. My whole life, I grew up in Church of Christ, but I didn't exactly go all the time. My family called ourselves Christians, but we never exactly went to church. When I was about 13, I came here, and that's when I started to know who God was and kind of see what He could do. Towards the end of my freshman year, I moved with my dad, and he's a good guy, but he's not really a Christian. And I always knew that I had God with me. Me and my dad had a lot of problems, and he eventually kind of put me out of his house, and so I came back to live with my mom, and through that I automatically knew who to go to for growth in myself. It was always here. This place has always been a family to me, and they instantly took me in and helped me with everything. One night while I was here, about 2 years ago, I was really able to fully forgive my dad, and that's the moment when I really started to live life for God. Once I could fully get rid of all the hatred I had towards him is when I really started living for the Lord. And my passion is to reach other people through the leadership skills that God has given me. And I just really want to see this youth grow in particular, but also the church. I want to see what it takes to run the ministries throughout the church and really get it to grow and reach people.
I'm Avra and I'm 16 years old. Well, I've been in the church pretty much my whole life, but one year we went to camp and Donnie Moore was preaching about forgiveness and how we need to let things go, and he really helped me forgive and let go. The service ended with an altar call, and the presence of God was so tangible that I just felt like I needed more of God, and that's when I really surrendered my life to Him and gave Him my all. I'm doing an internship this year to hopefully grow more in my faith and to bring more people to the church, to help out at the church and do things behind the scenes, and to help my relationships grow with the people of God, just to do things to build up treasures in heaven.
My name is Luke Folsom, and I'm 20 years old. Growing up, I was raised in a Christian home, and I was living an average Christian life, pretty much living off my parents' faith instead of my own. And I never really had a personal encounter with Jesus. And then at the age of 16, I had a radical encounter with the love of God, and it just completely changed me and turned me into a whole different person. Before that, I was very passive in my faith. I really didn't care about when I saw, lost people. But then after that encounter with the Holy Spirit that I had, all of that changed 180 degrees. I started feeling a burden for the lost and a burden for the hurt and the broken and the dying. And I really just want to help those people now. And I know God just placed a huge calling on my life to go witness and preach to the poor and the sick, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this internship, is so I can go out and get new tools and new methods and become better at preaching, become better at serving those people.
My name is Jessica Klink and I'm 19 years old. I grew up going to church with my family. A lot of the behind the scenes though, when we would get home, there was a lot of drug addiction and alcohol addiction and family abuse. When I was 6 years old, my parents got a divorce, and it was really hard on me. It took a toll on me, especially coming into my teenage years. And I was invited to church by a friend one Tuesday night, and when I came, I didn't really understand. I fell away a couple times, have come back. But 3 years ago, I decided to come back for good because I was just tired of hurting, tired of being in pain and having holes in my heart from my dad leaving and whatnot. So I decided to come back and give my life to Christ, and that's the best decision I've ever made. He saved me. He's made my life whole again, and I wouldn't be the person that I am today without that. So I decided to give the next year of my life up to this internship because I want to see not only our church grow, but our youth group grow. I want to experience growth in my own life, and I want to use the gifts that God's given me. I want to sing, I want to worship, I want to use what God has given me to make an impact on other people's lives and just see growth out of it all.
My name is Eli Brazel. I'm 18 years old. I grew up in a Christian family. I was always around God. And about a couple years back, I wasn't really living my life like I know I should have for God. I was kind of everywhere, doing my own thing, going to youth on Tuesdays. And then a couple years back, I really started to miss God's love. I felt like I was so far away. And then I just gave my life to God and decided to live for Him and just trying to keep up that motivation. I want to grow my spiritual walk and show God that I'm willing to live for Him and serve my church and help grow the church and myself.
My name is Brianna Branham and I'm 19 years old. I grew up in the church and I had always gone to the Sunday schools with my dad, and he finally forced me to go to a summer camp at the beginning of middle school, and it was then that I really decided to actually give my heart to the Lord and be a Christian for myself, not just because my family called themselves that. And in doing so, He brought me through just a lot of abuse in the home and a lot of hurt that I had experienced throughout junior high and middle school, and He's always been my saving grace. At the beginning of junior year, I did a week-long schooling, if you would call it that, up at Bethel, and it was there that I really felt God had called me to the mission field, and so I decided to change my course of life and really decided to give my life over to ministry. And I'm going to Bible college right now with my husband, and we're studying to be missionaries, and I love what we do in the internship. It gives me a chance to be that missionary in my community, and doing what I do with Sean has really helped to prepare me for what it is that I want to do within the church eventually after school. And after doing missions, I would love to actually be maybe an administrative assistant within the church and possibly be a worship pastor. So this has helped preparing me for when that time is to come.
I'm Kyle Branham and I'm 22. Right after I graduated high school, I just kind of wandered into a church, and I was going for a while, and I ended up going with one of my friends, and we ended up fighting, and she ended up kind of yelling at me. She's like, "You're not even a real Christian." And it was true, and I believed her, and I had nothing to say in reply. And that kind of sparked something on the inside of me, and I really started pursuing God. And before I was a Christian, I really didn't know why I was here or what I was doing or really what my purpose was, but through just becoming a Christian, I've really felt that God's called me to do more than just exist, and He's just called me, and He has a purpose for me to do great things in His name and just help people know who they are in God. God calls us to serve, and ever since I became a Christian, I've been doing everything I can just to grow in myself, in my own faith, but also just to serve whoever I can. And this is just really where God has led me to serve and to be a part of just a church community.